Hello, my friends. Welcome to Melissa's Musings. It's been a while, roughly about a month, because I'm going to talk about what a month April was. What a freaking doozy. I'm in a new space. So this is the office wall. Lots of inspiration here. We love our art. So as some of you trickle on in, I'm excited for you to be joining me in the new office and the new space. As you guys know, I am Melissa Steele, real estate agent extraordinaire and host of Melissa's Musings. And Melissa's Musings has been a little bit on the back burner this month because I'm going to share with you what a delightful and amazing shenanigans that April was. So this morning, as you guys know, John and I do a goal setting practice, and hi friends. Thanks for joining. CJ, Noon, Brent, hi peeps. So, and hold on, I'm gonna find something really quick that's going to support this video. As some of you come on here, okay, perfect. I have a little list, but I accidentally threw it away. I had just cleaned off my desk prior to this video, and I realized I threw away my musing notes. Okay, so April for me was a doozy. I'm gonna explain to you guys what it felt like, and I'm sure that we've all experienced this in our life. It's kind of, I have two different examples. First one is a snow globe. So envision a beautiful snow globe, I wish I had one, where all the snow is flurrying around and life is so chaotic. It's like a little tornado in that globe. And as time passes, those little snowflakes start to settle on the ground and on the bottom, right, of the snow globe. So that's one example of what April felt like for me. And I actually forgot what the other one was, so we're just going to move on from it. But April felt like a snow globe for me. And when it came to goal setting today for May and my reflection of how April went, I, for a split second, was feeling really hard on myself. I was like, wow, you did a shitty job at your goals, right? My ego conversation was like, half this sheet's not highlighted. You suck, right? And that message started to come through really clear and really strong. And right away, I was like, no, I'm not even going to entertain that conversation, because what wasn't on my goal sheets is what I accomplished in April. All of life that happened accomplished in April. And I'm sure, this was my second example. You guys have probably experienced this in your own lives, where it will literally seem like a day or two has passed, yet weeks have passed. You'll arrive somewhere and you forgot how you got there because you've been so on another planet thinking about everything that you've got to do that you weren't even present to the fact that you were driving, right? Have you guys ever been in that space? If you've been in that space, give me some love below. Be like, I feel you, or I've been there. Ultimately, like, we've all had those moments in life that are just a sprint. Hardcore, whether it be us moving or, you know, something bad happened or a death in the family, or it's like where time just flies and before you know it, you're like, holy crap, like, where did the last 3 weeks go? Because I thought it was like April 2nd and now it's May 2nd. And so what I really started to focus on and what I allowed myself the space for, what was so quick to jump up and what so quickly I recognized was the ego conversation and that self-beat up game that so many of us get into, right? You didn't do good enough. Half your sheet's not highlighted right away, split second. And as soon as I recognized that, I was able to shift like that into all the things that I did accomplish this month. And I'm going to fill you guys in on our month because I want to give myself a shout out here. Literally not one client had feedback that they received any lesser service or like even experienced any of this was going on. No one experienced a hiccup. Beautiful. No balls were dropped. Nothing fell off our to-do list, even though I accidentally deleted my to-do list. That was my last musing video. That was the start of my April, you guys. I deleted my overall to-do list. And ultimately, I'm going to read you guys what happened to us this month. And you guys can be the judge, right? You can help me to really express gratitude for myself for getting all this amazing shit done that was not on my goal sheet. So I deleted my to-do list. We moved. We had our assistant move into the house that we'd been living in. We hired 2 new employees and have been onboarding them both. My dad visited with the wife that he left my family for roughly 15 years ago. And I got to spend roughly a week of her visiting here with my dad. So that was a really emotional, intensive, awesome experience that I'm going to be chatting with you guys about in more musings for sure. We stopped working with our biggest business partner, somebody that we've literally closed dozens of deals with. We had our biggest deal ever fall out. Huge lessons in that, because I had been in a serious story. I had created a story for myself that was like a gift from the universe, because there's a really ridiculous story about that particular property that I'm going to bring to you guys in a musing. So that stay tuned for that, because that's going to be a real doozy of a story. But ultimately, our biggest deal ever fell out. I've been experiencing some health stuff, like have been going to doctors and getting a bunch of testing done. We're trying to figure out some different things that I'm experiencing with my reproductive system. So just checking up on things, lots of doctor's appointments, but that was for sure an area of focus. Our full-time assistant, so like our 40 to 50 hour a week assistant, who is literally the wind beneath our wings. I cannot even express the amount of gratitude I have for Jordan, because she does so much work for us. She got married on April 20th, so that was amazing. Such a beautiful celebration. But with that came her out of the office for almost 2 weeks. So when that happens, two things happen. One, the overwhelming amount of gratitude I have for Jordan, it becomes overwhelming. Like, I literally cry about how grateful I am for her and how amazing she is on a daily basis. And two, we recognize very quickly how important and vital she is as a part of our team, because when she's out of the office, John and I literally have 40 to 50 hours more work on our plates, like that, like instantaneously. So she got married, so we didn't sleep. No, sleep along with self-care was definitely sacrificed on John and I's part. And then I hosted a team barbecue for all of our team members. I hosted a baby shower. I hosted 2 dinner parties. All of that wasn't on the goal sheet, right? So, and so often when things don't go according to our initial plan, that like vision that we have, that story we've created for ourselves as to what something's supposed to look like, the vision that I had for myself on April 1st when I created my goal sheet was how I thought that this month was supposed to look like. Yeah, some of the things that I accomplished were on that goal sheet, like move into our new space. But did I know that we would be cutting ties with our biggest big business partner? No. Did I have the experience that on the day of closing for our biggest transaction ever, that I literally thought was like a gift for me personally from the universe that I created for myself, that deal falling out on the day of closing? Huge pill to swallow, huge issues to try and overcome, basically days of work that were unexpected. And then Jordan getting married and being out of the office, like major stuff. But how quick was my self-judgment when it was like, you weren't good enough? In that split second where it noticed that my goal sheet wasn't highlighted, right? And so often if we allow ourselves that opportunity, we'll be in a space of self-judgment. And instead of being in a space of like, wow, I'm amazing and I accomplished all of this stuff this month, that like, honestly, each and every one of these feels like a little bit of a snow globe moment to me, like moving. That unsettles most people. Breaking up with your biggest business partner, that unsettles most people. Having two new employees, that unsettles most people. But to have all of those things happening at work, like how proud am I and how grateful am I to my body for keeping up, for my mentality, for being able to like produce and stay on top of it, and for like the systems that we have in place and like the level of commitment that we have to our clients, all the things, right? So easily I could be in a space of self-judgment, space of you didn't do good enough, or I could be in this awesome space that I'm in, which is I'm a rock star, I crushed it, and I get to do all those things that I didn't do on my goal sheet last month. I just get to focus on them moving forward. And so if you guys are in a space of self-judgment or self-beat up, I encourage you to potentially see how you might be able to shift out of it. And if you're in a space right now that is flying by your face, like this past month in April, I only was able to go to yoga 4 times. Not for me, that was not what I was committed to at the start of April. I was not okay with how I did at that goal, and I'm really committed to switching, moving into this month. I've actually already done yoga twice. I'm 2 for 2. It's May 2nd. But what I noticed was the 4 times I went to yoga this past month were the 4 times I allowed myself like a second to slow down. All 4 times, 4 for 4, I ended up crying on my yoga mat. And what I noticed was that when I allowed myself just the space to like breathe and not be moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour, it was like my body just crumpled into like the fact that I couldn't maintain that pace for that long. So another really important thing that I started to recognize at the end of the month, thankfully we were on our way out of it at the end of the month. April was just truly a real doozy with everything that happened and with Jordan getting married. And John and I knew, like, we had to buckle down. The only way out was through. If we let the mountain of work just continue to build up and, you know, had been sleeping the 12 hours a night that I would ideally love to, all those things, like, not all the things would have gotten done, right? The mountain and the pile would have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. But what was very clear to us the entire time that we were on our sprint journey, right? We knew we were on a sprint. Like, we knew that eating dinner at 11 p.m. and going to bed at 1 in the morning and waking up at 6 a.m. was not sustainable. Like, we knew that through and through. We knew that going into it. We knew that as we were in the thick of it, and we knew it on our way out. But what was really important was knowing it and being aware of it. And then 2, recognizing when the sprint pace was simply too much. Like, thankfully, like, timeline really aligned, because I don't think John and I would have been able to continue the pace that we'd been at if Jordan was getting married this upcoming week and had been out of the office all month. It would have been a pace that we wouldn't have been able to sustain very much longer. Because as it was, the 4 or so weeks of just balls to the wall, pedal to the metal was really, really a struggle, you know, in regards to keeping up with our habits and our goals and the things that we're really committed to for ourselves. So like me, I know that my self-game was not on point in April because I got to make a lot of different sacrifices in a variety of different areas of my life. But what was really powerful is when I took that moment for self-care, I recognized how powerful it was, because I was like, holy shit, I need to get back to my self-care. If I'm on the mat, you know, on my yoga mat, and I'm 5 minutes into yoga and I've got tears streaming down my face because this is the first time I've allowed myself to relax since the last time I was on my mat, there's a problem. So when you're in a sprint pace, it's really important to recognize the pace that you're on, know that you're on that sprint and that you cannot keep the duration of it for a marathon, because even the 3.5, 4 weeks that John and I upkept that marathon pace, like, we're probably going to take 3 to 4 weeks just to re-up our body, to get back into routine, to get back to the sleep schedule and like all of the awesome ways that we maintain our rigorous lifestyle on a day-to-day. We get to really refocus on that in May. So in the spirit of that, both of our main focuses for May are around health, wellness, and habits. I'm super committed to all of my habits and really getting back into the flow, like my yoga. And now that just space has been created with Jordan being back in the office, resetting my boundaries very quickly. Now that she's back in the office, I've got a lot more time available, resetting boundaries, getting my commitments back on my calendar, and even my commitments with John. You know, like, it had been weeks since I turned on the TV, you guys. Like, the other day I sat down on the couch and turned on the TV for the first time, and I was like, oh my God, this feels so good. Oh, it feels so good. And I think I actually shed a tear about that for it too. I think I did. But it's really a beautiful process when you are in a capacity where you can sprint, and then get back to your marathon duration. Because those of us who are in it for the long run, you know, Gary Vee often talks about balls to the wall behavior all the time. And I'm an advocate for balance. Not that I feel like balance ever really exists, the ideal balance. Like, everybody's striving for this like balance, this pie in the sky type vision. But what I think is really powerful is being in the moment, recognizing when you've got a sprint, but then reeling it back in and having the capacity to know when it's too much, when you get to like refocus, and yeah, just having a good enough pulse as to like what you get to do in the world, and making your energy, allowing your energy to make it happen. So I hope this was awesome for you guys. I have been missing you, so I'm excited to be back in my musing space. And I'll be coming to you more often. I learned so much in this month during our rigorous adventure. As I mentioned, just in kind of reading off the list of all the things that happened, there's so many musings that I want to talk to you guys about, so much that has happened, and so many lessons that we've learned just in managing all of those things, and so many balls in the air and stretching our plates so far beyond what we ever thought capable and what we were able to create during that time. So I love you guys. I hope you're having a great week so far. I can't believe it's already Thursday. and already May. So amazing things happening all around. I love you guys. I hope you're doing awesome. Talk to you soon.